All right, welcome to Isis in the Bible Summer Gathering, week number 9, Metu, Neter, Apep. The question of the day is, have you heard of the story of Set? The story of the sun fighting the serpent every cycle. This is not only the sun's story in the heavens, it's our story as well. Every night, every lifetime, each of us must face the karmic serpent of chaos and rise renewed. For hidden in the struggle is the promise of rebirth, the phoenix fire that turns endings into new beginnings. Glad you could join us today. So this is the story that everybody talks about on the Egyptian walls. So we're going to show you this scene as it is so pertinent to our individual lives, but also go through the synchronicities that led up to and continue as we come into this week's topic. This ancient papyrus scene shows the eternal crossing of the sun through the waters of chaos, where Apep, the great serpent of negation, rises to swallow the sun. See, rises, trying to get at the sun here, okay? But here we not only see Ra's bark, the boat, we see guardians, the markers of time, and the forces within ourselves. Note the feminine power, the records of memories in the waters, the guidance, the receiving womb on the new day or new life. This is not just myth. It is the story of every cycle, every lifetime, when we too must ride above the sign or the sin waves and tame the serpent within. So you can see right at the beginning, this big, large snake, okay? That's Sekhmet, the lioness-headed goddess. That's Lilith. Lilith is the one, that's Medusa, the one who turns you to stone if you don't submit to purity versus temptations, right? So you can see that she's cutting the snake. She's attacking the snake, stopping the snake, pulling the snake. So this represents, the snake is temptations, right, in the Bible. And you know Sekhmet, look at, on the Egyptian walls, there's Sekhmet with all the cobras, all the snakes, right? So Sekhmet, Lilith, Medusa, they're all the same. And remember, Lilith, Medusa, it's not about if you look me in the eyes, you turn to stone. If you don't look me in the eyes, if your eyes are wandering all over my body with sexual desire, I shall turn you to stone. That is the true story, right? So you can see the wise eye. So the wise eye, this is just you knowing what you're seeing. As you see that the sun here, which is in the form of the hawk, you're the hawk, with the snake around the sun, so you're controlling it, right? It's more of a circle. It's not eating its tail. Behind you in reserves are the ibis, which is Mercury, the memories in the waters, and the hawk, which is Saturn, Father Time. You're holding the Bennu bird. So this is what allows you to part the waters. This is Moses' staff parting the waters, okay? Parting these muddy waters. So you're riding the sin waves, the sine waves, the waves you leave behind. That's why that forgiveness process is so important. So this is Set. This is the donkey. This is Neptune. Neptune is spearing the snake. The donkey will step on snakes. And it'll step on snakes vigorously. That's why this is the donkey up front, because the donkey will absolutely help you in your journey. So it's a guide trying to remind us, right? So there's a difference between, this is Pluto, God the Father, this is Osiris, this is Set. There's a difference between the two. This is a donkey, that's the dog. Dog, God, God, dog, right? And this is an image of the cardinal, because the cardinal direction, you're going towards the west. You're going to Set. That's why this is called Set. because you're going to set in the west, rise again in the east. So while I'm doing this, a cardinal, I'm looking to see what this image could be. And when I saw this, a cardinal started singing outside of my house here, confirming to me that I'm looking, yes, that is the cardinal you're seeing. This is the guidance that we're going to continuously get more and more and more. They're going to always be guiding us. And right at that moment in time, my ascendant was, look, on the tail of the snake and opposite the head of the snake. So everything is aligned. When you start aligning with the truth, you get spoken to. So the jackals and the cobras, they represent the four gates above, like the vulture up top. And they're bringing you towards the earthen woman, the next womb. When you set in the west, you rise in the east, you rise again through the womb. So that's what this beautiful story is about. So you can see that in a lot of the places on the Egyptian walls, you see the cat doing something to a snake. They're always going to be carrying a snake to give you. They're not necessarily going to kill it, because we got to be nice to all animals, including the snakes. But when they carry a snake in their mouth, they're telling somebody is not paying attention to their vibrations. Specifically, more than likely, it could be sexual temptations, because that's what Medusa, the snake, is telling you, right? I'll pull your snake, turn you to stone. But it could be other temptations as well. But usually this one, it means sexual. So this image brings us to the heart of the sacred instruction, the Hierophant as keeper of the mysteries. That's Vesta, the Vestal Virgins, the eternal flame. And that's what's represented by Bastet, the feline guardianship on the Egyptian walls. Here, the synchronicity of snakes crossing our path becomes more than chance. It's a sign of hidden initiation, the introduction of Black Tantra, of Immaculate Conception. And I'll get into that. Just as the Vestal Virgins tended the fire that never dies, and Bastet defended the earth with fierce devotion, we too are invited to hold the flame of truth while walking the winding path, where Serpent and Cat meet to show us guidance and being careful on how we make waves, including during birth. So before I talk a little bit more about Black Tantra, so Justin and I, this is just a picture, but I don't have a picture of when we were walking. We're walking through a nature path, and we're just going up amongst tall wildflowers. A small snake crosses right in front of us. Take a few more steps, another snake. The first one had a wavy, the second one stayed straight. So they showed us both the wave and being still. So I looked up on my iPhone what the snake mean, and I knew it was going to be because I've had it before, and it says, it's okay to have sex, have it as often as you like, go ahead. That message in itself is tempting us. And then we got into the message of Black Tantra. So he drops me off at home and he continues on. And this is what he said, hey, I really appreciated our stroll. You will appreciate this. When I dropped you off, I made my way to 14 Coffee for a quick one. Upon arriving, Nathan told me that Callie the cat had walked up with a live garter snake in her mouth. A customer freaked and saved the snake, helped it escape to safety. Yay. So to think that the cats know we're all going to be talking about this is absolutely invigorating. Mother Nature, we're all connected. Every single one of us, we're all soulmates, every insect, everything. And so Cat comes in with a synchronicity. Cat, right? She starts talking about the Hierophant. I think for some reason you need to talk about the Hierophant. And so that's why I brought this in. And then Kat and I were starting to talk about Black Tantra. People don't understand Black Tantra sex. Black is pure. So when I mean black, it's stillness, it's pure love, it's pure potential. It's the ether itself. The black is the womb of love, the ground of all creation. In this understanding, birth does not require the sexual act. Just as Mother Nature whispers to me now when a bee passes by me and it stung me without going on me. So that sting is in my chart, but because I'm doing my work, it just flies by, gives me a sting, nothing came out, I felt the sting, I didn't get the bump, but I felt it. So that means it's in my chart, I'm doing my work, but there's a reminder. So it's a placebo effect. The act didn't happen, but I felt the sting. So it's the same thing with Black Tantra. We are reminded that the union is deeper than contact, that memory in the waters connects us. We no longer ride the chaos waves, but squash them into stillness. Conception becomes immaculate, a birth from pure alignment when the heaven and earth meet in perfect timing. You emerge from the waters in purity, landing in the right community of love, leapfrogging all the non-loving could have beens. So when two people come together in unity and understand, they'll feel they know when they have to. The energy will be there. The birth, immaculate conception will happen without the physical act. It will happen with such divine timing. There will be a perfect birth. The mother will barely feel a thing. There won't be any pain with the birth. So when we understand and connect this way, there is the pure black tantra by definition. Like everything else that's out there, the definitions of them are a little bit askew. So immaculate conception is 100% real. Insects, animals do it. They do. There's not the physical act. And we also get taught by the black widow, don't we? Does not the black widow eat the male after the sex act? Right. So if we want to take that next level of consciousness, this is the type of thing we got to do. We got to be closer to stillness and including in that act. Because during the physical act, we make waves, don't we? Yes, we do. Right. So Justin shared this beautiful image of the moonrise last night. Totally just so related. So I'll just play it. It's only a couple seconds long. The moonrise last night was fire red. Now he's up high. He's up really high right now. You can see that's the top of a building. That's why the moon over there, look, it didn't even rise yet. Oh no, it doesn't rise. It just goes farther away. Like, you know, the flat earth thing. Earth's not flat, but we live on a flat plane. So that's why the higher you go, you'll see the moon rise before it shows it in the astrology chart, right? So these astrologies are based if you're there at sea level. Okay. So here's the thing. That moon rose as Ceres rose. And who's Ceres? The one that takes you, the harvester that takes you from the visible, right? So you got like a harvest moon, right? And who's there? There's Eris. There's Mother Mary, the one that sets the calendar. The Phoenix risings is rising along with the moon and Ceres. But the sun is still on the black sun, the black hole. So the sun is there, and where? In Leo. And Leo is fire, the fire sign. So you got something being birthed, the Mercury, the memories in the waters. And so I had made the picture of Apep here. And conveniently, just out of coincidence, the head went right to Lilith, Sekhmet, Medusa. So you can see that all these timings and beautiful things, well, Justin sent that to me so I can go look. Because it's all fitting with what we have to learn. It's not coincidence. We're doing this with each other. We're guiding each other so beautifully. So I'm just going to show you a couple of slides. We showed these before. A person who, a couple weeks before he left the visible, Karen shared this with me. This gentleman here, I can't remember his name offhand, but he shared this with me. Look at, he showed the sun and then this black hole that he saw in the sky. Well, I knew exactly his location. He gave it to me exactly the time. And there's the sun next to the black sun. It's the hole in the sky. It's the magnet. It's the magnetic field where pure love comes in and out of. Every atom looks like this, folks. We're connected through this black stillness. That's the unity. We're never not unified. We're always unified in the physical and in the spiritual. And that's why now we're in the age of Aquarius. Love is really showing us the wisdom. It's so beautiful. And somebody else sent me one too. They saw a black dot in the sky. I got their location, right? I plotted it out and look, and there it is again, okay? See, it's next to the sun. The stuff that NASA doesn't want you to know. So just more proof. It's okay. In loving memory of Irina Zarutska. This non-loving event has a silver lining when you look deeply into it, okay? Because we're infinite. But she's given us a message here. For those who have not heard the story, Irina was a radiant young woman of Ukrainian roots born on May 22nd, 2002 in Kiev. and most recently residing in Charlotte, North Carolina. At just 23 years of age, she left the visible on Friday, August 22nd, 2025. Though her time among us was brief, her presence carried a deep grace, gentle, bright, and unspokenly wise. She stood as a bridge between worlds shaped by the echoes of her homeland and a new soil she called home. Her story, like so many, was caught between histories, migrations, and karmic transformations far older than any one lifetime. In the stillness of grief, we often forget that there's no such thing as war, only the karmic cry for forgiveness echoing across lifetimes. When one leaves the visible as Irna did, it is never by accident and never without purpose. Her departure was not the end, but a message sent to all of us to remember love, to soften the heart, to forgive what was left unspoken, somewhere in place beyond our sight. A father stands rooted in a land that bears ancient sorrows and karma. Her father was not allowed to leave because he has to stay and go to war, says the government. So the government is only doing what they inadvertently know to do because they need to sit there and figure out they need to wave a white flag. Everybody needs to wave a white flag. They need to do the 5-step forgiveness process. They're in the Hatfields and the McCoys. So because when it's in our karmic path that we're doing this to each other, if you don't do it, then the kids wear it. But the kids were part of it in the past. So it's not about shame, blame, or anything. It's every one of us realizing that we've all been part of this, and now it's time to forgive and forget. So when you look at her chart, it's very clear. Okay, there's Lilith. Okay, Sekhmet, Medusa, the snake, on her wings, on that exact moment. She has Uranus and Pallas on her Sept sign, the descendant. This is the Sept in the west. Pallas community on Neptune. There's that high energy. There's a Neptune high energy on Ceres, the harvester. Saturn, Father Time, on her black moon, giving deep spiritual signs. But at the exact moment that it happened, her ascendant was on Mother Mary. So here's the alignment that's showing you that she's doing this because of karmic debt, but also as a message, which I'm going to show you. We need to start listening to these signs. We need to wave the white flag and not go after somebody because we're just going to keep it perpetuating. If we want something to happen to the guy that did it to her, we're no better than the rest of them. And it keeps us in karmic debt. That's the tough pill to swallow. Uranus was on, that's holding up the roof over people's head, was on her son on that day. And this is all across Lilith, her wings, and Mary Magdalene. It's all there. She was supposed to leave on that day. Now, should her father did a 5-step forgiveness process, cleared his waters, this may not have happened to her. No, it wouldn't have happened to her. It wouldn't have. So that sounds like blame. Well, no, I'm not blaming anything. I'm sharing the light. We all need to realize, stop being third party, judging, delivering karma. We got to get out of it. We all have to wave the white flag. The politicians are doing their job unknowingly, but they have to stop doing it too. You want to leave this country? No problem. Show me that when you go get therapy on doing the 5-step forgiveness process, understanding karma, putting an end to this war, then we'll let you go. Now there's a solution, isn't it? So at the exact moment that I'm doing her chart, I went and looked at the energies in the sky. The sun is exactly on the tail of the snake, rising in the east for me. In Leo the heart, be brave and tell the story. Be brave about Aquarius, John the Baptist, about the forgiveness process. Ceres is on Alpheratz. Alpheratz is the east star, the navel of Pegasus, the horse. Shared also as the head of Andromeda, the woman in chains. Okay, so it's all there. And guess what? While I'm looking at the story, the moon is aligned Mother Mary. So it's telling me that this is something that needs to be shared, and this is the message. Somebody called me that I have prophet syndrome. Prophet complex. I want to be a prophet. No, I don't. I'm reading the stars. I'm showing the truth. We all need to ask for forgiveness. We can't keep the fire and the wave going, because that's what this story is. If we want to use force on each other, we just keep doing that exact same process over and over and over again. So this was the exact moment that I reviewed her chart. She's infinite. She can hear us. She's happy. She's loving this. We're help clearing her waters, her dad's waters, and I hope this message gets to him. It is through his heart because I asked him for forgiveness. So her departure was not the end, but a message sent to all of us to remember love to soften the heart. I just want to read this again. To forgive what was left unspoken. Somewhere in a place beyond our sight, a father stands rooted in a land that bears ancient sorrows of karma. He watches not with absence, but with soul. For those eyes to see, her passing is not lost, but a breath of the invisible reminding us to listen deeper. What we call tragedy may be the soul's gentle rising, a divine orchestration meant to return us to the truth that only love is real and all else is an illusion awaiting our compassion. So all these snakes and all these stories and all these things that happen to us, starting with that eclipse, is all rooted in us getting this guidance. And everybody's a part of it, sharing it. We're all sharing it with each other. We're trying to bring each other home. That's all I have for today. We'll see you soon, Irna.